Thanks. So Amy just introduced probably the first thing you'll do once you get with your grade level, decide a place to land in the building. We will come around and deliver that paper copy of the standards as well as those roles that Jen Orton kind of introduced before lunch, the idea that you'll want a facilitator, you'll want a materials organizer. We'll bring those to your places. And then you'll probably start with what Amy just shared with you. And when you are ready to do that, you might be just using a piece of paper in your notebook. And Jen, I don't know how to minimize that box right there. But this is also in our Google Drive folder that we showed you before lunch in the For Everyone folder. So if you want to do it like this, that's fine. It might not need any formality. Nobody's going to expect to see this. This is really for your planning, because then it is the work in the grammar glossaries, but probably more when you get to the grammar calendar and you're deciding when, that you'll want to say, so which of these pieces are we going to teach in the writing process, and then which units might it fit across the year and how will we layer that. So this is that pre-planning work, and I just wanted to name it is in our For Everyone folder. So once that is all set, you are ready to consider your grammar glossaries. And I just want to share with you this quote from a teacher that took one of Jen Orton's courses around this work. And so I'm going to read it aloud for emphasis in case you can't see the screen. Lori wrote, "Since Jen and I both teach 4th grade at Tustin and Pine River, we worked on our glossary together. I thought it'd be fairly easy to do since we've been teaching these standards for a long time, right? Well, I was wrong. I'm glad this was a part of the class. Doing the glossary gave me time to really look at the standards. I learned that there were a few that we were not teaching with the depth necessary. There was also one we were completely off base on. We now have a better understanding of what we need to teach, and it's in a format that's easy to use and share with others." So hopefully that will be your experience as well. We've named that there are samples in some of your grade level folders in that Google Doc area, but we also just want to bring your attention before we release to the criteria, because over the years we've been able to refine what will really work for a grammar glossary as we, remember that other responsibility, that other hat we kind of have today is that the work that we're doing will be shared widely. So that criteria is there for you, and I encourage you to look at the front of that folder that you picked up today. The very front, after that little welcome letter, is your glossary criteria. And again, we want to name and reiterate the fact that even if there is a grammar glossary in your grade levels Google Doc folder, and you're in there and you're looking at that, do not feel like you have to use that. If you want to experience that process, do what you need to do. You might pull pieces of that, you might use it and just add to it, or you might do something different. We pretty much vetted what we put into those folders. There was a process that we used when we put them in, but yeah, so you'll need to make whatever you do your own. Yes, please, Jen.
One thing that came up with these glossaries that was unexpected is many teachers started sharing them with parents. So just kind of think about that also when you build a glossary, if that's an audience that you're considering.
Good, thank you. So, just wanted to name a couple of these pieces, that these are created by teachers for teachers or parents to develop common definitions and examples of the terms in the Common Core State Standards, in the language standards. This is initial work for any year-long grammar plan. So we do want to make sure that we actually include that language standard, and the template that's in there in that For Everyone folder has the place where you can just enter in that standard itself. And then we have the actual, and it says addresses all applicable grade level Common Core language standards. So if you're here thinking about the MAISA work and how this fits, we know that the MAISA units were written primarily to address the writing and the reading standards. They also have language work within them, and at the same time, our job here is to really look at all of those language standards that find their home in a different place in the standards, in the Common Core State Standards, but they were written to still be embedded in writing and reading. So we are going to look at all applicable Common Core language standards. We kind of have a little bit of a responsibility to be pretty thorough this week, again, for not just ourselves, but for everyone who might use these resources. And then examples for the terms and the concepts defined. That's always so helpful for our students, but for us, this resource is for us, so that we not just have the definition. Sometimes that resonates with us or not. The example is always really helpful. And then Jen and I were talking at lunch. Really important to put forward that the resources, please do, as you're online looking for definitions, examples, please do cite your resources. We want people to have a place to be able to go later if they want to do further learning, but we also want to do that proper acknowledgement of where we get our materials. So this resources is kind of a non-negotiable, unless it's coming from your own creativity. All right, that's it. Those are your grammar glossary criteria.